the channel Home of Programming. Today we will be creating a new series of CSS and we have learned few properties of CSS in our HTML series itself, right? So what this separate series will give you is, we will try to explain all the properties of CSS in this particular series, right? So there are totally 63 properties available in our CSS for adding some of the design options to your web page, right? So you can add this particular series in your watch list so that you can hear our series of CSS in repeat mode, right? So whenever you are going to create an HTML page or whenever you are going to create an animation based web page, you can have our CSS series with you, right? So with no further delay, let's get into the session. Yes. So what we are going to learn is CSS properties, right? So in the HTML series itself, we have learned fewer properties of CSS such as flex, alignment, background color, background image, like that we have seen, right? So this separate series of CSS properties will explain you all the properties of CSS in an alphabetical order, right? So starting with the letter A and we will end up with the letter Z. So we will try to learn the properties of CSS in alphabetical order, right? So and there are totally 63 properties, and each day and in each video of CSS properties we will learn 2 properties, right? So I have listed 63 properties, and in each session we will learn 2 properties of CSS, right? So that it can be useful for you to learn it, right? So starting with the letter A, there are 13 properties of CSS. So we can list out that properties, and at the end of this session we can learn the first 2 properties of CSS, right? The first property is align content, second one is align items, third one is align self, fourth one is all, fifth one is animation, sixth one is animation delay, seventh one is animation direction, eighth one is animation duration, ninth one is animation fill mode, 10th one is animation iteration count, 11th one is animation name, 12th one is animating timing function, 13th is animation play state, and these are all the properties which are available with the letter A in CSS, right? So out of these 13, most of the properties will be related to animations. So only 4 properties are related with alignment, right? So remaining properties are related with animations, right? So in this particular video we will learn about align content and align items, right? So let's move on to the property align content, right? So what align content will do, right? So in our HTML series we have learned the property flex, right? So what the flex property will do in your web page is, it will divide the web page horizontally, right? So whenever you want to create a columns of data, you can use the flex property. And moreover, if you want to wrap up your content, you can use the property flex wrap, right? So now what your align content property will do is, it will modify the properties of flex wrap, right? So that is, it will override the value of your flex property. So if you are giving some of the values for your flex wrap and also you are providing value with align content attribute property, your align content property will work in your web browser, right? So what are all the possible values of align content properties? It can be stretch, or it can be center, flex start, flex end, space between, space around, initial and inherit. So these are all the values that you can give to the property align content, right? So along with this we can learn about align items also, and after that we can have a demonstration of both, right? So let's move on to align items. So what align item will do is, you can specify a default alignment for each item in your inside your container, right? So this is a rule of your align items and property, right? So similar to align content, what are the values that align items can take is, it can be stretch, center, flex start, flex end, baseline, inherit and initial, right? So these are all the values that can be taken by align items, right? I hope you're clear with the properties, align items and align content, right? So now we can get into the demonstration of these two properties, right? So create a new document of HTML and we can create one div, and for that particular div we can apply align content property as well as align items property, right? So before that, let's create a structure of HTML. So inside our HTML tag we are going to have head tag, inside which we are going to apply our CSS internal properties, right? So after the head tag we can have our body tag which contains a div section, right? So here div class, you can either use class or id attributes, right? So when you provide id attribute, you should use that particular attribute in the style tag with the operator hash. If it is class, you can use that attribute inside your style tag with the operator dot, right? So what I am going to do is just provide any name for your id, and inside it we are going to have sub divs, right? So we can have some background color for each div so that we can identify every div, right? So we can copy this particular content and we can paste this, right? So we can just change the color as red, blue and green, right? So inside each div we can provide some content such as red color, blue color and finally green color, right? So now what I am going to do is I am going to apply CSS properties for this content div as well as for the individual div inside it, right? So we can provide the CSS properties for content div with the operator hash, as we have used the attribute id, right? So we can use it as hash content, right? So now I can give width and height for the div, right? So let the width be 300 and the height be 400, right? So now the align content property will override the flex wrap property, right? So in order to realize that, we have to provide flex wrap property, right? So let's flex wrap be wrapped, right? So now what I am going to do is I am going to assign align content property to the value center, right? So just keep it, and we can define the width and height for individual div inside your content div, right? So now what we can do is, so we can provide the div width as 80 pixels and the height as 90 pixels, right? So now save your program and run it, right? So here with align content attribute, with the align content property assigned, the each div is displayed horizontally, right? So when I remove that align content property, it is going to back, right? So this is a way with which you can use your align content property, right? So in a similar way, you can also use align items property, right? So one rule for align item and property is you should have number of items inside a particular div for which you are going to provide align items, right? Just save your program and now run it. So here when I remove this align items, the width and height will be increased for your div, right? So this is a way with which you can use align content and align items properties. So I hope you are clear with this, and do comment your thoughts for using these properties in your coding. And if you are interested by our teaching and our videos, do subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.